Hello guys, Rubberbat1 here, and today I have my hero deck profile. Sorry if you hear the banging, that is my neighbours having an extension done on their house. This is my hero deck profile. I've been playing heroes for quite a long time now, since they first come out, and this is my very favourite deck, and one of my first, basically my first deck I ever properly made. And I've been working with this deck for a very long time, and now that we finally got all the new support, including Blazeman, Anki, I thought it was finally time to do an update on my deck profile. So I'm going to show you the type of cards that I like about this deck, why I use certain cards in it, and how I play with this deck in this format. So I'm going to start this off then. Now, pretty standard. Free Shadow Mist. Now the free Shadow Mist is basically your replacement for Stratos. So when it's sent to the grave, you search a hero card, and also this card never miss times, which is very good, because of if it would miss time, then you would not get the effects, which is good because it never miss times. And also when it's special summoned, you get to add a mask change from your deck to your hand, which is also very nice, seeing as you place trap cards and other ways to get it back, and special summoning it from your deck with other cards. So this card is basically the heart and soul of the hero deck right now. Without this card, you could not play it that as well as it is. So this is really one of the main cards that's got heroes back to power. So next, it's changed from the last format. Free Bubble Man. Now, when last format I was playing 2 Bubble Man, simply because Bubble Man, it wasn't so powerful in the last format, but now as I look, Bubble Man is a very much more powerful card in this format, because of it's all because of the main man, Blazeman, how you can send him to grave, search, and also how you can just use him as fodder for your fusions. Also, he's a good target when you want to XC, so you only have this card in hand and special summon. So Bubble Man is a very good card now at free, simply because you can make more XTs plays now, and the extra deck isn't so packed. It's still very cloggy, the extra deck, but Bubble Man at free is a lot better now than it used to be. Next, 2 Blazeman. Now, most people play 1 Blazeman, but I like to play 2 simply because it has 2 really great effects. When I normal summon it, normal or special summon it, I get to add a polymerization from my deck to my hand, or if I want, I can just send a Shadow Mist from my deck to the graveyard, which is also very powerful, seeing as it allows me to get a +1. So I just normal summon this guy, get a poly, or send a Shadow Mist to grave, and it's just so powerful, seeing as I can do so much with him, and also he can make me do much more plays with this. Also, if I want, when I send the Shadow Mist to grave and I've got a Mars change in hand, this can technically be a Dark Claw, because Shadow Mist to grave, this card becomes a Dark type. It comes to the type of any card that I want to. Also, it could be a potential Acid and other cards that are very powerful in the deck. So I played 2 Blazeman simply because the Poly Search, and I can just mill my Dark Claw, make a Dark Claw with him, or mill Shadow Mist and get a +1. So this card is very good now. I don't see why people are playing it at 1, but I like it at 2, simply because it has a very powerful ability. Next, 2 Goblinberg. Now I mainly play 2 Goblinberg just because it's a rota target, and it mainly gets rid of those cloggy hands when you open up with quite a few monsters, because if I have this in hand and like 2 other monsters, I can't really do much. But if the other monster's a Shadow Mist, I can just normal summon him, switch into defense, special summon a Shadow Mist, and then just search out a Mars change, which will just make me be able to make a Dark Claw, Anki, whatever. So Goblinberg in the deck is actually quite powerful now, in my opinion. But up first, I didn't really like him, but because of the new support, I think he's a lot better. So Goblinberg at 2 simply for those reasons. 2 Summoner Monk. Now, I play 2 Summoner Monk simply because I get to go through my deck easier, discard those dead spells in my hand, and just get my Mask Change to hand quicker thanks to Shadow Mist. So he's just there to special summon Shadow Mist from the deck. He's basically like Goblinberg, but he allows me to get it from deck. And he can be very useful in those situations when first turn, open up with Hero Lives. He's basically Hero Lives without the cost. So I don't have to pay half my life points. Also, it's just an amazing card, to be honest. If it was at free, I would play it at free, but it's at 2, so I can't really. So that's the monsters. Next, I'll go on to the spells. Okay, free, equal. Yes, I know one of them's common. First world Yu-Gi-Oh problems, but I play free equal just to search out all my heroes. The deck. This is basically the main search of your deck, other than Shadow Mist, of course. And he's just. This card is just Stratos. If we had Stratos, I'd probably run 2 of them, but this card, it's a good card nonetheless. Next, free Rota. Now this is just the same as equal, but it also allows me to get my Goblinberg to hand. So it's just basically the same, but just allows me to get more cards to hand like Goblinberg. And also, they're Hobby League. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, they're Hobby League, and I really like these Rotas. Next, free Mask Change. The deck now without Mask Change, the deck wouldn't be able to function properly. So Mask Change is literally just your main go-to card, so you can summon most of your extra deck. So I don't really need to explain this because the Mask Change is so powerful in the deck. Also, they're super, which is very nice. Next, free Mask Charge. Now this card is just basically to recycle your Mask Change and any hero card in your graveyard, so you can just make more cards in your extra deck. Simply just the recycle card of the deck. So this card is basically just recycled to the max. Next, 2 Hero Lives. Now Hero Lives, this card needs to be at 2 because if you play more of this, then it can get really dead because you don't want to open up with it with more than 1 unless you get a Summoner Monk, because he can just discard it. But this card at 2 is just the perfect balance because of you don't really want to be drawing into more than 1 because it can clog up like hell. You really only want 1. You only really want 2 in the deck, really. So that's the reason I play 2. 2 Miracle Fusion, basically just to clear out banish cards, special summon from your extra deck. He's your graveyard summon. So you can basically go into your extra deck cards, which I'll show you later, my fusion choices. So this is basically just to summon your extra deck cards. Powerful card as well. Without this, the deck probably would be a lot slower and not as powerful. Okay, next, Form Change. Now, Form Change I chose simply because if I have one of my fusions on board, my big guys, which aren't Mask Chain heroes, or if I have a Master on board, I can just switch him out, go into another play. Also, this card can help out with OTKs a lot, seeing as if I go into Anki, kill a monster, search out this, then switch out into a Diane or something else that can beat over. Because if I switch this into a Diane and my opponent has another card on field, I can just kill his monster, special summon Shadow Mist from grave, and search another Mask Change, which is very powerful. And also, this allows me to go into quite a few of the masked heroes in my extra deck, which I can't make with this deck. Next, 1 Polymerization. This is just simply to help OTKs, and because we roll Blazeman, so it's the target for Blazeman's search. And I love the alternate art from the anime. And finally, for spells, 1 Raigeki just to clear the board to help with the OTKs. Onto traps. So 3 Call the Haunted. Now this card, it basically recycles your Shadow Mist from grade, so you can get your searches with him easier. He's basically the main target for special summons in the deck. So you activate this and just search with your Shadow Mist. Without this card, the deck would not be as good, because you wouldn't be able to get so much plus off Shadow Mist. And also, there's not really any other way to summon heroes from your grave other than this. So that's why I run that. 2 Mirror Force. Now, I run 2 Mirror Force simply because Mirror Force is one of the most powerful battle cards of this format, and I find wiping your opponent's board is very good in this format. So my opponent attacks, they have like 3 monsters on board, I flip the Mirror Force, their board is cleared instantly, so that's why I run 2 Mirror Force. Now for one-offs, I play 1 Crush card, because of Shadow Mist is in this deck and he's 1000 attacks, so flip this up, they lose all their 1500 and more attacks. but never use this against zombies. You don't want to use it there. One Vanity is pure Floodgate, just so you can stop your opponent's plays. One Solemn Warning to stop anything, just to stop any summon like a Denko Sekka or something. And one Bottomless Trap Hole, just to get rid of anything big like in the Shadow deck. Okay, now on to Extra Deck. So, starting off with the main guy who made this deck come back a few formats ago. Well, also he made other decks better. 3 Darklaw. Now I run 3 Darklaw simply because in the last format I thought 2 was okay. It was, but now in this format with Shadows back and all these other decks like Niklos, you're gonna have to run 3 Darklaw just to compete. Because of Darklaw here, he's your main card. Literally, every deck in this format now searches. Every deck in this format has cards that, well, not every deck, but most decks have cards that activate Engrave. And also, if you summon this against Niklos, they kind of cry because they search all the time and they don't want their cards getting banished. So that's the reason I play Darklaw at 3, because he's the most versatile card in the deck. Because he's basically macro for your opponent only. And also he allows you to banish that one search card. Next, 1 Koga. Now I play 1 Koga simply because of form change and he's a target for it, so I can just get my plays off quicker, and he's a great OTK card. Seeing as if my opponent has a big board, I can just summon this guy with form change and then just beat down his big guys. And also he's got that effect where I can banish a hero from grave and their monster loses the attack of that banished hero. So it's very powerful on that form. Next, 2 elemental hero, masked hero, Acid. Acid is basically your back row popper. Without this card you wouldn't be able to pop all your opponent's back row at a time. So the reason I play this is simply because I don't like my opponent having back row at any time. So that's why he's here. Next, 1 masked hero, Anki. He's here to help off your OTKs so you can kill a monster such a mask change. So he's also a way. Also, if it's late game and your opponent has low life points and they have an established board, then you can just go into this guy and beat down for 14, and if they've got low enough life points, this card can actually give you game. So Anki is also a direct attack plus a mask change search, so he's really good in this deck. Next, masked hero Diane. Now masked hero Diane, I would say, is one of the more better ones. Anki in a way is like Diane, but Diane allows me to special summon a masked hero from deck. So say I attack into his monster and then I special summon Shadow Mist. It's another way to search out my mask change and get more plays in. So I can get a lot more damage in on that turn simply because I have Diane in the deck. So Diane is also a really good way to get searches and other pluses. Next, for the actual fusions, 1 Absolute Zero, seeing as he's the best water hero in the deck, and as you know as my screenshot, I love this card. He's my favourite card in the hero deck, so I love this card more than anything, and I have to play him, especially when you play 3 Bubble Man, seeing as it's also good. And also, when you go into this and just go Acid with Mask Change, it's like a complete field nuke. So I would always play as Absolute Zero if I was playing a fusion card. Because Acid and Zero is a very broken combination. It's just a nuke your opponent's field. Next, 1 Escuriado. Seeing as I play Shadow Mist in this deck, and Escuriado is dark, I see that there is a reason to run this card. Because he's also he can be a high beat depending on how many heroes you got in grave. So I can just beat down my opponent for big damage. Also, if I can swap him out for any hero, just with form change and everything if I don't want him, he's basically a big beat, and he's also damage, and he's also a swap out target. So that's why. 1 Nova Master. Now, Nova Master's here because I run Blaze Man, and he's a target for the fusion. So I can just make OTKs, and also if I kill one of my opponent's monsters, I +1, so it's always good to have this card, because if they can neg 1, and I +1. So that's why I play this now, because of Blaze Man, and he's a very good card. So next, on to the XCs. Those are all the fusions. I run 1 Cowboy for game, 1 Daigusto Emerald for recycle, 1 Castel to compulse anything I don't like, and 1 Blade Armor Ninja just for those OTKs. So guys, tell me what you think of this deck. Tell me if you like how I built it up, and tell me what you think of it. So guys, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good 420 Blaze Man. See you later.